all ye homies at home. Gonna do our best to kind of catch you up and give you relevant instruction today. Fortunately, it's gonna happen in a classroom full of geniuses, so you're gonna get some good examples. And what I'm thinking, there's a little punt quality to this. And I think what I'd like is, Grace, can you do me a favor? Because we didn't film yesterday's initial basic shape, actually, let's see. Let's not start with Grace. Grace, you're gonna come in. Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer, could you stand up?
Yeah.
And show us your bicep.
Oh, you dick!
And then as you show us your bicep, explain how your bicep was relevant to yesterday's instruction.
This makes sense.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
just do the thing that I did last time.
Yeah, and then talk about why. Whoa!
There we go.
Back up!
Hey, boy, stop playing
Back
with me!
up! You might need safety goggles.
You want the lighting again?
No, it's awesome because he's got kind of an overhead.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so can you tell the camera why this is important?
Well, it demonstrates how overhead light casts shadows and causes more definition.
Beautiful.
Dun, dun.
Wonderful. And so.
Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah.
And hey, Josh. Oh, it's good to see you. So this will be for Josh. So Spencer's bicep demonstrated that light source is important. The light reveals form. And if you are an artist learning to be a representational drawer, you have to understand how light affects an object so that you can recreate it on a two-dimensional surface. So we went from Spencer's bicep as an example to drawing a sphere on a two-dimensional surface. And now, Grace, could you hold your sphere up and show the people at home? And then is there any way, oh, I guess I'll do this. This is Grace. And so what we drew yesterday, which we want you guys to draw too without any instruction, unfortunately, today, is a circle. And using your compressed charcoal, you're going to create an elliptical shape here that then fades in this direction. This becomes the poor dark shadow. It's the darkest part. This is the highlighted area, and it's right underneath your imaginary light source. Because the light is here and the shadow is here, it casts a cast shadow, and the foreground right here. This is the background, and this is the foreground. As we go through today's drawing instruction, we're going to use those terms, these terms right here. So, light source, highlight is the part where the lightest part of your object is. Core shadow is the darkest part of your object. Intermediate shadow is all this stuff that's in between, and we use paper towel as a way to kind of drag this through, and you'll see that. Cast shadow is this doohickey right here, which always takes on the shape of the shape that you're drawing. In order to see the cast shadow, it's got to be sitting on a foreground that's illuminated. So this is all light, we're just leaving it alone. And this is the background, which shows off the shape of the thing. Okay, cool?
Cool.
All right, so here we go. So now we're going to start today's instruction. Except that we're going to draw something right here. All right, so should we draw something?
Zoom in on everyone this time. I had to watch one of your videos.
Okay. Wait, don't zoom on people?
Raise your hand if you like Greece.
I love doing that. It's so fun.
So, this is how democracy works. However, we're at school, and it's a dictatorship, clearly.
It is, and I'm the dictator.
I love it. I love that
Anytime.
Jacques shows initiative. He understands democracy, and in this case, what are we doing, Tavius? What did you just vote on? Hers. So whatever that means.
Yeah, me. I miss Harry's. I'm not here this year, but I'm an art teacher also, and I have a little bit of an announcement to make because my colleague, Frank Jacques, who I love and adore, wait, first I have to give you a little bit of background on him. He went to high school in California, and then he played soccer at Humboldt State, graduated magna cum laude with a degree in zoology, so he's smart as a scientist also.
You told us all this yesterday.
Well, I'm telling you this now because we're recording it. And
It's official.
he also, so he taught, science, biology?
He did.
He taught biology, and then he got his MFA at University of Washington, and taught at Oak Harbor High School there, and taught some classes at University of Washington, and his MFA is in ceramics. One thing I admire about him is because he is so disciplined. He's a vegetarian, eats peanut butter and jelly every single day. He still knows how to skateboard and can fit in his pants from high school, I'll bet. He runs a lot. Let me see, let me just look at this. In his age group, he won, oh, this is impressive, the Rut 50K, Governor Cup Half Marathon, the Crosscut 25K, and the Bangtail 38K.
Dang.
Pretty amazing. He's happy, energetic, and fun, and super dedicated. Whenever I would come to school, his car is always here first. He's here super early in the morning, and at night he's still thinking about his classes and trying to find things that are interesting, ways of teaching that are interesting to you. You know those bumper stickers out there that have Sasquatch in the back of the cars? That's not Sasquatch, that's him. He's running through the woods all the time. Yeah, that's well.
He's her suit.
You shared that. So come on over here, Frank, Mr. Jacques. In my nifty hat box.
Oh, seriously?
As
This is the crown.
oh, that's not it. I will present to you, hailing from Belgrade High School, the Montana Art Educator of the Year.
Yes, sir, Steve.
Montana Art Teacher of the Year. So, sweet. Well, it's a huge honor. It is. I think teachers should get rewarded for the stuff that they do every day. I mean, you guys don't all the time, but you know that your teachers work hard. Even when they have bad days, they probably have been thinking about you and thinking about their content area and how to kind of deliver it. And it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy because you guys aren't excited to come to school every day, and we totally get that because we used to be high school students. And so we're, peculiarly suited for this, and then we go, God, what really turned me on when I was in high school? And it was somebody who cared about what they were doing, passionate about their content area, and then willing to do the really hard work of figuring out how to kind of connect content with people who are really different. We all come with different stuff. There are many days when I go by the airport off-ramp and think, well, maybe I should just keep driving to Butte today, maybe that would be fun, but I don't. And so the discipline part is really true, which is I go, it's my job, man, and I got to figure out a way to make it fun, and I got to figure out a way to make it compelling and interesting. And I'm really happy to be here as a teacher. I'm really happy to be a teacher in Montana. I've met some brilliant people, and I believe very much in Belgrade High School and you guys. So this is cool, man. A cowboy hat I have never owned. I had a feeling it was going to be a cowboy hat, so I wore this. Shanna, I knew you'd be here and you liked the shirt, so I thought,
Well done.
if I'm going to represent Panthers, I'm going to look like this today. Anyway, thank you, and whatever audience at home. I'm honored and flattered, and to be nominated by Stacy was really enough, and so this is totally just the icing on the cake. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And it is so sweet to see you too.
It's good to see you also.
Congratulations, Mr. Jacques.
Thank
Very
you.
well deserved.
Interrupting.
You make us all proud and stand for the excellence at Belgrade High School. So thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for seeing that.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, I'm gonna.
So she was assistant principal of the year too. So you want to know a good administrator, that is one right there.
Yeah, she's amazing. You guys are lovely.
All right, so you don't have to film this next part because you're going to Phillipsburg and you're going to hang out.
Going to
Are
Phillipsburg.
you going to do some painting while you're there?
No.
I was holding up Colton's sketch pad, going, we're only going to draw on this surface ever, except for right now we're going to draw on this surface, but with pencil. So you're going to practice something. So what we're doing, you guys, is doing this. It's a classic art exercise, which is if you can learn to draw these shapes, then when all of these shapes that you're going to draw show up in other places. And so when you tackle any kind of representational drawing, you can go, looks like a sphere. So you can expect a certain kind of behavior, light, dark, intermediate shadow. So that's the idea. And so we're going to do a series of shapes that will show up and other things that you look at. Every single person who has ever drawn a superhero understands these things. So this is where it comes from. If you've ever looked at, superhero cartoon and gone, God, that's so cool. They could show all these muscles. What they're representing is these kind of basic ideas, these simple forms. Okay, so we're going to do something in pencil right here. So pick up your pencil, and on that sheet, that top sheet, you're going to draw an ellipse. And so it's not an oval, right? An oval is kind of rounder. I don't know. It's an elliptical shape. And so it's a circle that's attenuated. If you take a circle like this and you pull the ends like that, and you pull on the left, you end up with this elliptical shape. And so what I want you to practice on the top is I want you to go like this. You just have to kind of get good at making this shape. It should be, ideally, I guess it's probably bilaterally symmetrical this way. So I want you to do 10 of them. So just practice this shape. So it shouldn't be fat like that, right? That's like an egg or a potato. I want you to really flatten it out a little bit. So it looks like that. If it takes a couple swipes at it, it's not easy, but if you can learn how to do this, like that, it's an ellipse. And basically, what you're talking about when you're talking about ellipse is what happens when you take a circle and you try and represent it on a two-dimensional surface. So this is the circle. So hey, Josh, can I get Josh your pad right here?
Sure can. It just say Ned's favorite on it.
It does. And now Josh, you're Ned's favorite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So do it 10 times as practice. And so you stop thinking about sketching it, you just go whoop, like this. All right, put the pencil down. Now on that
Good job.
lower sheet, right here, we're going to start the next simple shape. And we're going to start the simple shape by drawing an ellipse right here. Like that. Oops. So much for all my practice, huh? That's pretty good. So you got this kind of hovering ellipse or halo. Now you're going to drop a vertical here and a vertical here. Oh, Hannah, come over and sit on this side. Sarah, sit on the side so that you're looking. Josh, swivel onto the side right there so you can look this way. I want mostly have you kind of facing this direction. Okay, so here's the truth. You're going to draw a cylinder, and maybe you guys in geometry have looked at cylinder volume, looked at cylinder surface area, things like that. I always think of, and I know that at some point when you're doing when you're proving like the volume of a cylinder is actually made up of a series of discs, right? It's made up of actually, I always like this idea that it's a whole bunch of two-dimensional discs that go all the way down. And that way I imagine it as a stack. And if it's a stack, the bottom curve of the cylinder has to be exactly the same as the top curve. So this smile right here has to be happening here, because if it was a see-through cylinder, like it was a glass cylinder, this would go like this, and then I'd see that backside. Only I don't really want to see the backside when I'm drawing it. I just want to see the front side. So what you guys have to do is you have to draw this curve right here, and that curve should be this curve. So if you took that curve and you pulled it down, it should be exactly the same. Wow, Hannah, yours is way better than mine. And now we're going to set it in space. So now I have a background and a foreground. As soon as you put that line in, man, your brain is so engaged. It's engaged to think that you're looking at something that exists in real space. It just does this thing. It's translation. So this cylinder, if you guys remember yesterday when I projected light on it, is a combination of an organic shape, which means that it has this uninterrupted round shape that goes this way. So this part's organic, but then this part is geometric or rectilinear, so it ends and it ends. So a sphere grades like this, over here and here and here and here and here, right? It's this continual grading. This guy doesn't. So this guy's simpler in that regard. the widest point of the cylinder is here, right? It's right here. So if you were at the light source looking down, you go, here's the diameter. This is the widest point. So it means the light is going to hit the top. It's going to be the brightest. This is going to be bright too. And then the illuminated part is going to go around to the center line. And then the waves aren't going to go all the way around like this. So it's going to begin cutting it off. So that means to draw it, I'm going to start on this back side. And I'm going to go up to here. This is going to be dark. I'm going to leave a little bit of reflected light because it's kind of cool. It may or may not be there. So that's going to be dark. And then what I have to do from that kind of four value is start going this way a little bit lighter. And I want to go evenly this way. I'm going to stop there because that's going to be dark. And the shadow is going to become lighter and lighter as it moves towards that center spot, that kind of equator. So now I bunch up my paper towel so it's like a little finger. I'm going to go like this. So I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to go in this direction. And so as I'm grabbing this compressed charcoal, there's kind of less and less of it to drag over, so it gets lighter and lighter as I go this way. I want to lose anything that has kind of linear information, because this shouldn't have linear information. It should get lighter as I get here. And then just like with the sphere, what I want to make sure to avoid is any moment where I can see a line in here, like there's kind of an edge in here. I don't want that. I don't want to be able to go 0, 2. I want it to be really, I want to see 1 and 0.95 and 0.75 and 0.65. So I'm going to drag stuff this way. Then I'm going to come back with my eraser. That little guy. So Josh, I see that you're sitting there. You got not been here. Here's what you need. You need. I'm gonna give you 2 small pieces of this. Do all the drawing with these guys, and then I'm gonna get you a piece of paper towel. Alright, so this is the part I really want to blend. So I don't want to see it like that. Sometimes this kind of surface will show up if it's really reflective and metal-y. Alright, I'm liking that more. And then it works best if these edges are clean, man. Even though this material doesn't want to be clean. So practice using your eraser. I think it looks good. You can make that lighter. Cold looks perfect. Ryan,
Is he cold? Tori, let's see it. Alright, in a moment. And a good job. It looks like a yogurt bin. A yogurt bin. A yogurt bin.
Not yogurt, like a trash can.
I mean, yeah, that's the shape, right? What are you gonna... I wish we could fill these up with stuff. That'd be kind of neat, right?
When yesterday we projected that shop light onto the cylinder, Junior said, this is the brightest part. Then there is this is bright. This is the darkest part. Here's your cast shadow. And then I flipped it over, so if it's an open shape, the light's still coming from here. It's going to hit this side. It's going to cast this part in shadow. So now we're going to create an open cylinder by taking the edge of the compressed charcoal. I'm just going to go right in here, put some of it in like this, and then blend it back towards that center line. like this. So take paper towel. It's more accurate than my giant piece of compressed charcoal. And if I take this, it's gonna be dark, and then as it goes this way, it gets more diffuse. And the cool thing is it actually will kind of hand off the light, the illuminated part, to the thing on the outside. So this part. And then, if it's really a can, like a can of beans that you just ate, this rim would be illuminated right here. It would really be the brightest part. So, something like that. Right? Makes sense? So your light source is hitting the cylinder, and if you guys remember yesterday when we had the real light and that real kind of plastic bucket thing, what happens is the light hits and it's going to hit all the kind of terminal parts, and so this is the widest point on this side. So the shadow has to start right there. It's going to go in this direction. On the other side that we can't see is the other side of this bucket, and if you drew an ellipse, it would put it about right there. And so that means the shadow has to start up here, right? So the shadow would cast this way and go in this direction. And then the top of it has to be this. So it's going to be a frown going in that direction. So your shadow is going to look like this. We're going to go here, I'm going to go here, and then actually it's going to, in terms of the paper, it's going to be a little bit like this. So it's going to do this thing. So it's going to kind of curve like that. So your cast shadow will have this curve. It'll start from here. It'll start from the side you can't see. And then it's going to be dark right up against the base. No light's going to hit this part. And then what with the bending of light and all, it'll get diffuse as it gets longer. And I'm going to do the rest with the paper towel. And I have to lose this line because you really would see the line. You know, line. Erase it. Erase the schmutz, a little kind of over scratchy parts.
We're doing the background now.
So this is going to be, take it, put that edge right here, go up like this, try and find that, you know, the ultimate edge of the top part of this ellipse. Come all the way, that's not very accurate, right around like that. And then I'm going to give it some, just to suggest, you don't have to do the whole thing, but man, it looks really good when you can get this, the shape to pop out of the background makes it so believable. And then, I'm going to do this with my left hand. Here. line, come back with my paper towel. And so you guys that are at home who haven't done the sphere yet, this is what we did here. So we did a circle first, dark, faded it this way, erased this part back, created a cast shadow that looks, you know, circular, but is actually elliptical, just like this, and then did the background. Background. All right.
Anything you want to say to the kids at home? Just a wave. It's good. Oh. Beans.
Fire. All right. Now it gets advanced. And it's not hard doing this. I mean, it's not hard. It's not easy doing this. It's a challenge to watch somebody draw something and have to make marks. It just is, and it is for me too. Okay, so there are going to be two shapes that end in a taper like this, but they're going to be different, geometrically different. This is going to be a cone, and a cone behaves like a cylinder. So it's got an organic shape that goes around, but it also tapers at the same time. So the bottom of the cone has to have an ellipse like this. So the bottom of this has to be like that. So go ahead and draw this guy like this. Think. This is going to be a pyramid, and by dropping one line, it could be a 4-sided or a 3-sided pyramid. And your task is to go from the taper down like this, and then finish it like that. Tori, both of your cones are beautiful. And then we're going to set it in space. So horizon line here. It's always a little wavy, I don't know why. So you have a background and a foreground, cone and a pyramid. So the cone is advanced because it's a cylinder, only, so it behaves like a cylinder because there's a center line right here, right, that goes like this. It's in fact a stack of 2-dimensional circles, but the circles get smaller as you go up. So the widest point, the diameter is right here, it goes like this, so it means that what I have to do, the light's hitting this, is I have to make this side dark, and then it's got to get lighter as you go in this direction. There's going to be more pigment at the bottom than the top. So I'm going to put some charcoal down like this, and at the bottom, I'm going to have it go this way. And now I'm going to go get my paper towel. Is this one mine or is that yours? Cool. That's yours. And then just steal my paper towel.
There's one on the ground right there.
No. Hannah, did you throw mine on the ground?
Probably.
Hannah. It's probably on film.
It is.
In the background going. Alright, turn this into a little finger, like that. Go in this direction. And then by the time it gets to the center, there really should be no shadow at all. This is a hard thing to pull off. It's not very dark, but it is believable. So I'm gonna make it a little darker, show it off a little more. Alright. And so now clean up. Good job. So good. Nicely done. Also good. So then you have to sort of back over here. Yeah, so you can erase it. Let this thing you can see it. Take off the, you can take off the compressed charcoal off your gum art eraser by erasing it on something, because the little parts come off. And so what's cool about this eraser is that the parts come off. So if it gets completely covered in compressed charcoal or graphite or something like that, if you erase it on something else, you'll lose it. And you'll go back to having a nice little eraser. So this eraser is made to crumble, right? And it's like feta. It's like rubber feta cheese. It comes in these little tiny parts, which makes it very tempting to throw, right? Or crumble up into little pieces. And how do I know this? Because I've seen it happen more times than I can count. The most famous of which is, I don't know, it was like 2000, I want to say 2008. The classroom looked just like this. Students in Washington working at tables on some kind of drawing using compressed charcoal. Janae Bayan was in the class, and Janae Bayan was the captain of the basketball team. She ultimately got a scholarship, I remember, to the University of Idaho. It's a big deal. Anyway, she was funny and loud, and she was a good student, but she was devilish. And so here we are, this completely quiet classroom, and everybody's busy working like this. And I'm, whatever, wandering around going, nice. There's nothing I could do because everybody was doing fine. Out of the corner of my eye, I see this movement, this repetitive movement, and I go, and I look over, and there's Janae. She doesn't see me looking. She's taking her gum art eraser, she's breaking it into smaller gum art erasers, and she's tossing them like this, like a basketball player. She's tossing them into the butt crack of a girl who's leaning over on her drawing like this, who has a thumb. And there's a little space, and Janae's going, I'm gonna fill up that space. And like this. She's like, gets caught. And the girl is really nice. She never apparently doesn't have a lot of nerve endings there, but so at some point during the day, I'm sure she went, a lot of eraser. Anyway, go on, eraser. Don't do that. Let it be a lesson. Okay, back to this.
Pull up your pants, maybe. Huh?
So this is an organic shape. If this is organic shape, things go dark to light gradually. This is a geometric shape. The beautiful thing about a geometric shape is it's easy to shade because this surface is going to be light uniformly. This surface is going to be intermediate value uniformly. So we're just going to pick like a number 3 value, scale value, and fill it in. So we want it to be even. Doesn't have to go dark to light. Basically, it's kind of a coloring assignment, and it will make sense with this. So I'm just going to put some in here, have it go right up to that edge, like this. I'll blend it in with the paper towel, and Bob's your uncle.
Where does that saying come from?
I don't know.
Alright.
Very English. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's not my uncle.
It's Cockney slang, I think. It probably translates from something else. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to cast a shadow. First, we're going to do the pyramid cast shadow. So the pyramid cast shadow, the widest point is going to be this point right here. So it has to leave this point. And if it's a 4-sided pyramid, the other side is going to be back there. So I'm going to make my shadow come from up there. It's going to be tapered, of course, because it's a triangular. And erase my little over here. And now I'm going to put black, really dark, compressed charcoal right up against the base of this thing. And it'll get more diffuse, even with the geometric shape as we go this way, depending on the distance and the strength of your light source. Little tiny finger. Eraser. Yeah. Pretty believable. All right, so here we go. Here's an advanced, kind of an advanced idea. So this cone is going to cast a shadow too, but it's going to cast a shadow onto this thing. The shadow's got to start here on this side, and then it has to start base of the ellipse over here, and I'm going to make it go this far. So it's going to go like this. Here, it's going to go like this, here, and then it's going to go up like this. Maybe that's pretty fat. Might be more than it would ever do. It's going to do like this. So it's going to go merp, like that. See if we can pull this off. The imaginary, slightly different light source than the other guy. So the shadow is always going to take the shape of the thing that it falls on, which is really cool. And maybe my guy doesn't taper enough. Maybe it'll look better if I taper it more. Let's see. Maybe this guy. I'm going to erase this thing. Make this point here. I like that a little more. crawl right up on this little guy. And then Arr, looks cool. And then background is advanced too because you have two things to accommodate for. It's just a lot of drawing. This is gonna go to here. Right up against it. This guy. Blandorama. Lip. Right? Yeah, that's a good defensive quality. So here, I would just make your paper towel more like cleaner.
Dave, good job, dude. Can you pick it up? Yeah. Maybe like that. Yeah. Nice, Caddy.